Imagine having to live in a place where the air was dangerous to breathe, with many people walking around with breathing masks on, and where smog warnings were normal. This is how people live in Shanghai, China. My father is in frequent contact with people in China that he works with. My interest in this subject was sparked when my dad had to wait for a conference call that had been delayed. The conference call was with people in China, so it was around 8 a.m. there and late evening here. The call was delayed because they couldn't get to work. The traffic was so bad because smog had affected the visibility so severely. The men that my father was in contact with sent a few pictures that they had taken from that day. Here is an area called the Bund, and this is where ships come in and out of that bay, and these ships are just huge, and you can usually see them very clearly. But now, obviously, you can't see anything going in and out of that little bay. Now, in this picture is a skyline, and you can see the buildings up front a bit more clearly. But if those buildings weren't up front, you would definitely not be able to see or make out what kind of shapes were in the background. You wouldn't know that they were buildings. Here, you can see a couple walking and a person on the right side. Now, behind these people, if you look closely, you can see a couple more people, and without the smog, I'm sure there would be tons more people in front of them. But the smog is so crazy, it's got to be probably like 30 feet of visibility that you can see. So that's pretty crazy. And then this is a picture of the traffic. And normally traffic is just so intense and congested over there. Now imagine putting smog on top of that. I'm sure getting to work would just be full of stops and moving inches at a time. And here, someone is directing traffic. He has a mask on, and behind him you can vaguely see some cars. You wouldn't be able to see these cars if they didn't have the lights on. Unfortunately, Shanghai is not the worst area for air pollution in China. Many other areas, including rural areas, are affected. I didn't fully understand why they used masks just to walk around, to go do daily activities like the grocery, go to the park. I just thought it was an overreaction that China had just latched onto. Not until my father came back from China saying he had been waking up from sleep coughing up a black substance did I understand the severity. I've never truly been concerned with the environment, and air pollution never bothered me until it had affected someone I knew. I thought about people I knew, like my grandma. There's no doubt that she would not be able to survive if we lived in China. America is one of the top polluters in the world, and it is scary to think that life like it is in China is so easily attainable. You may not think that there is such a thing as indoor air pollution, but it exists, along with outdoor air pollution. It is so harmful to humans because of polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, or PAHs. When fossil fuels are burned, this is created and released into the air. A study that was taken in New York with mothers and children indicates very terrifying results. Pregnant mothers wore air pollution monitoring devices and gave their blood and their children's blood. When the children were 6 to 8 years old, they underwent psychological tests. Children with mothers that had higher PAH levels experienced more depression and anxiety. Even if you try to avoid air pollution from the outdoors, there is no avoiding it. It inevitably gets indoors. Along with the psychological effects air pollution may have on humans, it, of course, can cause lung problems and other long-term problems. My high school government teacher would tell us stories of how he grew up in California. He did not live in the urban area, but when he would go to the city, he would start to get sick So when the city started to expand, you could start seeing the smog more frequently. You ended up being diagnosed with asthma. Air pollution can make breathing uncomfortable and cause coughing. It will age your lungs, make your breathing more shallow and quicker. Asthma, emphysema, and other respiratory diseases can come from this, and even death if you have existing heart and lung problems. Air pollution is difficult to escape, but there are ways that you can try to help. For indoor air pollution, you can ban smoking from your house completely, which is obvious, and avoid using aerosols that can be found in sprays and cleaning products. And most importantly, you can get air filters. For elderly people, pregnant women, and anyone that is sick, this would be an excellent investment. Living in Kansas, we don't see the worst of air pollution. So it's completely understandable that not all of us have jumped on the green craze bandwagon. So now, since you know a little bit more about how it can affect people and people you love and care about, we can all go out and try to prevent this and do some stuff to help prevent air pollution. And I'm not saying go out and buy a Prius, change your lifestyle completely, but just be more conscious of your surroundings, and we can help make our country healthy.